AJ Agazarm versus Chris Lencioni is a featherweight bout. Chris Lencioni has achieved a record of 6 wins, 2 losses. AJ Agazarm has achieved a record of 3 wins, 1 loss. Alright, so AJ Agazarm has had all of his fights inside of Bellator, with his 1 loss coming against Jesse Roberts by split decision in a fight where I actually think he won. But after that first loss, he actually went on to go 3-0 with a first-round rear naked choke over Jacob Landon, a unanimous decision win over Jonathan Kuros, and most recently, a third-round armbar win over Adel Atamimi. Alright, now let's take a look at his opponent, Chris Lencioni. So, Chris Lencioni is what you would call a submission specialist, as 4 of his 6 wins were actually by submission, with the other 2 wins coming by decision in fights where he was going for submissions the whole entire time. Now, he did also lose 2 unanimous decisions to 2 strikers, as those 2 guys had really good takedown defense, and they both just dominated Chris on the feet. Now, I definitely think that Chris Lencioni is mainly a grappler, but because AJ Agazarm is better at striking and even on the ground, he has the skills not to get submitted, and he even has the skills to get a submission of his own, as he has fought in very competitive grappling bouts with guys like Benson Henderson. I just think he's not going to really get submitted. He could get the submission, and because his striking's so good, he could just go for takedowns, go for submissions. I see them both trying to do that, but I just don't really see a submission actually happening. And I see AJ Agazarm getting the win by unanimous decision. Alright, if you agree, disagree, or just have something to say, make sure to put it in the comment section below, and I'll make sure to back to every single one of those comments. Make sure to like, subscribe with the notifications turned on so you don't miss the absolute best MMA content out there. It's been fun, but I'm out of here. Nainoa Dung versus Charlie Campbell is a lightweight bout. Nainoa Dung has achieved a record of 3 wins, 1 loss. Charlie Campbell has achieved a record of 1 win, 1 loss. Alright, so Charlie Campbell actually went undefeated in his amateur career with 5 straight wins, 3 that were by KO, 1 that was by submission, and 1 because of a doctor stoppage. After his amateur career, he fought Cody Zapone in his first pro fight inside of a promotion called Ring of Combat, where he actually ended up winning a very close split decision. After his first pro win, he fought Anthony Newton and ended up losing by unanimous decision. Alright, now let's take a look at his opponent, Nainoa Dung. Alright, so Nainoa Dung has had 1 pro fight outside of Bellator, where he ended up beating Chris Boricks by submission inside of the first round. Now, after that win, he was actually signed by Bellator, and he ended up winning a 3rd round TKO win over Kona Oliveira, and a unanimous decision win over Brad Robinson. After that fight, he took a big step up in a veteran guy named Zach Zane, where I just think it was the experience thing that made him lose. And if it was a younger fighter, less experience, he probably would have won. But I see that he's going to learn from that experience, as it was his first loss against a veteran fighter. And I just think he's going to use that fight and get the win by unanimous decision. Alright, if you agree, disagree, or just have something to say, make sure to put it in the comment section below, and I'll make sure to back to every single one of those comments. Make sure to like, subscribe with the notifications turned on so you don't miss the absolute best MMA content out there. It's been fun, but I'm out of here. Dalton Rosta versus Mark Gardner is a middleweight bout. Dalton Rosta has achieved a record of 2 wins with absolutely no losses. Mark Gardner has achieved a record of 1 win, 1 loss. Alright, so Dalton Rosta was actually a light heavyweight before this, while Mark Gardner has been fighting down at middleweight, which means Dalton Rosta is going to be the bigger fighter. Alright, so Dalton Rosta was undefeated in his amateur career and his pro career, as in his amateur career, he had 6 KOs and 1 win, where the other fighter just kind of quick because he was just destroying him, making him 7-0 in his amateur career. Now, in his pro career, he's had 2 fights, which were both inside of Bellator, where he beat Cody Vital by TKO due to doctor stoppage in just over 1 minute, and most recently, he actually beat Claude Wilcox by TKO from ground and pound at the end of the second round. Alright, so let's take a look at his opponent, Mark Gardner. So, Mark Gardner was also undefeated in his amateur career, as he had a second round KO win, 2 first round submission wins, and after that amateur career, he had 2 fights inside of not very good promotions, and he ended up winning his first fight due to doctor stoppage in the first round, but he ended up losing his second by KO in the first round. Alright, so, Mark Gardner, he just hasn't fought in that next tier of MMA fighters, and his amateur career was really short, so he just doesn't have the experience that Dalton Rosta has, and Dalton Rosta has been undefeated. So, that leads to my decision. I think that Dalton Rosta is going to get the win by KO in the second round. Alright, if you agree, disagree, or just have something to say, make sure to put in the comment section below, and I'll make sure to react to every single one of those comments. Make sure to like, subscribe, with the notifications turned on, so you don't miss the absolute best MMA content out there. It's been fun, but I'm out of here. Grant Neal versus Hamza Saleem is a light heavyweight bout. Grant Neal has achieved a record of 3 wins with absolutely no losses. Hamza Saleem has achieved a record of 5 wins, 2 losses. Alright, so Hamza Saleem is actually moving up from middleweight, as he was ranked 169th at middleweight, and his opponent Grant Neal is actually ranked 105th at light heavyweight. Alright, so Hamza Saleem actually has 1 amateur bout, which he ended up winning by first round KO. And after that fight, he actually decided to become a pro, as after that he fought Andy Marat and beat him by unanimous decision, and then fought Justin Ellis, who he beat by KO in just 22 seconds of the first round. After his first 2 pro wins, he ended up losing 2 unanimous decisions to Jared Ravel and Adam Fugitz. Now, after those 2 losses, he was 2-2, and since then, he hasn't lost since, as he is currently riding a 3-fight win streak over Hank Turner by first round KO, Liam Stevenson by third round KO, and most recently, Brad Greek by first round KO. After that, it actually granted him his first fight inside of Bellator against Grant Neal. Alright, so now let's take a look at Grant Neal. Grant Neal actually went undefeated in his amateur career as well, and he actually had 3 submissions, 2 decisions, and 1 KO victory. And when he became a pro, he actually ended up getting a first round submission win, a unanimous decision win, and a third round win from ground and pound, with the 2 wins coming against really good competition inside of Bellator. Alright, so this fight is honestly, in my opinion, it's kind of just a fight that's just going to push Grant Neal. I think that's kind of what Bellator wants, as I think Grant is just going to dominate in this fight and probably get the KO in the second round. Alright, if you agree, disagree, or just have something to say, make sure to put in the comment section below, and I'll make sure to react to every single one of those comments. Make sure to like, subscribe, with the notifications turned on, so you don't miss the absolute best MMA content out there. It's been fun, but I'm out of here. Valerie Loreta versus Tara Graf is a women's flyweight bout. Valerie Loreta has achieved a record of 2 wins with absolutely no losses. Tara Graf has achieved a record of 1 win, 1 loss. Alright, so Tara Graf actually had a terrible amateur career, as she actually went 5-5 in her first 10 amateur bouts, with 4 of her wins coming as KO in the first, and the other coming as KO in the second. Now, in her 5 losses, she was KO'd, armbarred, and she lost 3 decisions. Now, in her pro career, so far inside of KOTC, she ended up winning her first fight by first round KO, with her second fight coming as a KO loss in the third round. Alright, so let's take a look at her opponent, Valerie Loreta. So, Valerie Loreta has had 3 amateur bouts, with her first fight coming as a win by unanimous decision. Now, after that win, she ended up losing her first and only fight ever to Mariana Avila by split decision in a fight where, honestly, I thought Valerie most definitely had won. Now, after that controversial loss, she had one more amateur bout, and she ended up winning by unanimous decision. Now, after that win, she actually became a pro and had 2 straight fights inside of Bellator, where she beat Colby Fletcher by first round KO and Larkin Dash by unanimous decision. Alright, so I definitely see this fight staying on the feet, as both girls' main type of striking is to strike. They just like to strike the whole entire time. They don't really have much of a ground game, but seeing as Loreta is much better at striking, although less powerful, she could still win by making this a long, tiring fight, like tiring Graf out, and she could try to get the win by decision, and Graf's way of winning is probably just to look for the KO victory. Alright, so because I think Valerie Loreta is just a better striker, and I think she is going to tire Graf out a little bit, and by the second and third round, I don't think Tara Graf is going to look like she is in her first round, and with that being said, I think Valerie Loreta is going to get the win by unanimous decision. Alright, if you agree, disagree, or just have something to say, make sure to put it in the comment section below, and I'll make sure to back to every single one of those comments. Make sure to like, subscribe with notifications turned on so you don't miss the absolute best MMA content out there. It's been fun, but I'm out of here. Adam Boricks versus Mike Hamill is a featherweight bout. Adam Boricks has achieved a record of 14 wins, 1 loss. Mike Hamill has achieved a record of 7 wins, 3 losses. Alright, so Mike Hamill is actually not ranked worldwide, while Adam Boricks is actually ranked as the 43rd best featherweight in the world. Alright, so Mike Hamill actually had 4 amateur bouts where he went 3-1 with 3 KO victories, with his only 1 loss coming from an armbar in the second round. After his amateur career, he ended up racking 5 straight wins, 3 by KO and 2 by decision. Now, after that impressive streak, he went on a 2-fight losing streak to Tonino Gavino by KO in the first round and Jordan Winsky by first round armbar. Now, after those 2 disappointing losses, he actually ended up getting a unanimous decision win, but that was followed by a third round loss because of an illegal shot from Hamill. Now, after that loss, he had in his most recent fight, which he won a unanimous decision win. Alright, now, let's take a look at his opponent, Adam Boricks. Alright, so Adam Boricks actually won his first 9 fights that were actually outside of Bellator, and once he got into Bellator, he ended up winning 5 straight. 2 by flying knee, yes, flying knee, 2 by rear naked choke, and 1 by TKO from ground and pound. Now, after those 5 straight wins inside of Bellator, he had a very impressive record of 14 wins with absolutely no losses. But in his next fight, he lost to an absolute beast in Darion Caldwell by submission. Alright, so Adam Boricks was actually scheduled before this fight to fight another opponent, and his opponent actually had to pull out. So Mike Hamill stepped in on short notice. And honestly, just because this is a short notice fight for Hamill, and Hamill is just, honestly, he's just so much worse of a fighter than Boricks. Boricks is a top 50 featherweight in the world. Hamill is just not even ranked. He's not even at Boricks' level, so that leads to my decision. I think that Adam Boricks is going to get the win by KO in the first round. Alright, if you agree, disagree, or just have something to say, make sure to put in the comment section below, and I'll make sure to react to every single one of those comments. Make sure to like, subscribe with the notifications turned on so you don't miss the absolute best MMA content out there. It's been fun, but I'm out of here.